My brother stole my fiancée and married her while I was deployed overseas. 8 years later, at my father's funeral, he introduced me to their 5-year-old son. "This is Uncle Ryan," he said. The boy looked up at me with my exact eyes and said, "Daddy says you used to be engaged to Mommy but you weren't good enough for her." I smiled and knelt down. "That's an interesting story. Want to hear what really happened?" But before I could speak, my wife walked up behind me, put her hand on my shoulder, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Hello, Michael. It's been a long time." My brother went white. Because my wife wasn't just anyone. She was his former boss. The woman who'd fired him 6 months ago. The CEO who now controlled his career. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Chase, I'm 36 years old, and I'm about to tell you the most satisfying, complicated, and ultimately justice-serving story about betrayal, reinvention, and the moment my entire family realized they'd underestimated me for the last time. This happened 2 months ago at my father's funeral, and the fallout is still unraveling. So buckle up, because this story has layers that kept surprising even me. Let me take you back to the beginning. To 8 years ago, when my life fell apart. I was 28, about to deploy to Afghanistan for a year-long tour with the Marines. I've been dating my girlfriend Emma for 3 years. She was beautiful, smart, worked as a paralegal at a law firm. We'd just gotten engaged 2 months before my deployment. My younger brother, Michael, was 25. We'd always had a competitive relationship. He was the golden child, I was the military son. Our parents, especially our mother Carol, had always favored him. He was charming, successful in sales, always knew how to work a room. Before I deployed, I asked Michael to look after Emma. Help her if she needed anything. Be there for her while I was gone. He promised he would. I should have known better. 3 months into my deployment, I got a letter. Not from Emma. From Michael. "Ryan, I need to tell you something. Emma and I have fallen in love. We tried to fight it, but we can't. We're together now. She's moving in with me. I know this is hard, but we hope you can understand. She's going to send back your ring. We're sorry." I was in a war zone, carrying a weapon, dealing with life and death situations daily, and my brother sent me a fucking letter telling me he'd stolen my fiancée. Emma never wrote. Never called. Never explained. Just sent the ring back in a package with no note. I was devastated. Angry. Betrayed. But I was also in Afghanistan with a job to do. So I buried it. Focused on my mission. Survived. When I came home a year later, they were already married. Married. They'd gotten married while I was still deployed, while I was dodging IEDs and watching friends die. My family acted like it was completely normal. My mother threw them an engagement party that I wasn't invited to. My father gave Michael advice on married life like he hadn't stolen his older brother's fiancée. I came home to find my brother living in my apartment. I'd let him stay there rent-free while I was gone, married to my former fiancée, and my family treating it like a slightly awkward but ultimately acceptable situation. "You were gone for a year," my mother said when I confronted her. "What did you expect? Emma was lonely. Michael was there. These things happen." "These things happen? He's my brother. And now he's her husband. You need to move on, Ryan. Be happy for them." I couldn't be in that city anymore. Couldn't be around them. So I took my military benefits, applied to business schools across the country, and got accepted to Stanford's MBA program. I moved to California. Cut contact with my family. Blocked Michael and Emma. Started over. Those 2 years at Stanford changed my life. I focused entirely on my studies and career development. Made connections. Networked. Landed an internship at a tech startup that turned into a full-time offer after graduation. The startup exploded. We went from 20 employees to 200 in 3 years. I was employee number 8, which meant I had significant equity. When we got acquired by a larger tech company, my shares were worth $4.2 million. I was 33 years old and suddenly financially independent. But more importantly, I'd met someone. Her name was Victoria Hayes. She was 34, brilliant, and the COO of the tech company that acquired us. She'd led the acquisition negotiations. I'd been part of our team's presentations. We started talking during the integration process. Professional at first, then personal. She was divorced, no kids, focused entirely on her career. She built her way up from junior analyst to C-suite executive through pure determination and intelligence. We started dating 6 months after the acquisition. She was unlike anyone I'd ever met, direct, ambitious, unapologetically successful. A year later, we got married. Small ceremony in Napa, just close friends. I didn't invite my family. They didn't even know about Victoria. My life in California was completely separate from my life back east. I'd rebuilt myself. Created a new identity. Married an incredible woman. Made a fortune. And then, 2 months ago, I got a call. "Ryan? It's Aunt Sarah. My father's sister. The only family member I'd stayed in touch with." "Hey, Aunt Sarah. Everything okay? It's your father. He had a heart attack. He passed away this morning. I felt a complicated mix of emotions. Grief for the father I'd lost years before we stopped speaking. Relief that I'd have closure. Dread about seeing my family again. When's the funeral? Saturday. I know you're not in contact with everyone, but Ryan. You should come. He was your father. I talked to Victoria. You don't have to come, I said. This is going to be uncomfortable. I'm coming, she said firmly. You're not facing them alone. So we flew back east. Checked into a hotel. Prepared for the funeral. The service was at a large church. I arrived with Victoria, both of us dressed appropriately. I saw family members I hadn't seen in 8 years. Some looked surprised to see me. Others looked uncomfortable. My mother saw me and approached. Ryan. You came. He was my father. She looked at Victoria. And who is this? This is my wife, Victoria. My mother's eyebrows raised. Wife? You're married? Have been for 3 years. You didn't tell us. You didn't ask. We haven't spoken in 8 years. She looked like she wanted to say more, but people were arriving. We'll talk after. At the reception. The funeral was emotional. I cried for the relationship I'd lost with my father long before he died. Victoria held my hand throughout. At the reception at my parents' house, I finally saw them. Michael and Emma. Michael had gained weight. Lost some hair. Looked tired. Emma looked older too, though still pretty. They had a child with them, a boy who looked about 5. They saw me and froze. I watched emotions cross their faces. Surprise, guilt, defiance. Michael recovered first. Put on a fake smile and walked over with Emma and their son. Ryan. God, it's been so long. 8 years. Yeah. Crazy. You look good. Military must have kept you fit. I'm not in the military anymore. Got out 6 years ago. Oh. What are you doing now? I work in tech. In California. Cool, cool. He gestured to Emma. You remember Emma, obviously. She couldn't meet my eyes. Hi, Ryan. Emma. Michael gestured to the boy. And this is our son, Dylan. Say hi to Uncle Ryan, buddy. The boy looked up at me with green eyes. My exact green eyes. The distinctive Chase family eyes. Hi, he said shyly. I knelt down. Hi, Dylan. Nice to meet you. Daddy says you used to be engaged to Mommy but you weren't good enough for her. The adults around us went silent. I felt Victoria's hand on my shoulder, steadying. Michael laughed nervously. Kids say the darndest things, right? I never said exactly that. That's an interesting story, I said to Dylan, keeping my voice calm. Want to hear what really happened? Ryan, Emma said quickly. Don't. But before I could continue, Victoria stepped forward. She'd been standing slightly behind me, unnoticed. Hello, Michael, she said. Her voice was professional, cold. It's been a long time. Michael looked at her. His face went from confused to shocked to pale. Miss Hayes? It's Mrs. Chase now, actually. Michael's mouth opened and closed. Emma looked between them, confused. You two know each other? Emma asked. Oh yes, Victoria said. Michael worked for me until 6 months ago when I fired him for falsifying sales reports. The small group around us was growing. Family members were noticing the tension. Michael recovered slightly. That was a misunderstanding. The reports were falsified, Victoria said firmly. You inflated numbers to secure a bonus you didn't earn. When we audited, we found a pattern going back 8 months. We terminated you for cause and you forfeited your commission. Wait, I said. You worked for tech companies? I thought you were in pharmaceutical sales? Michael looked trapped. I've moved around. Different industries. He's moved around because he keeps getting fired, Victoria said. I made calls after we terminated him. He's been fired from 3 companies in 5 years. Always for the same thing, inflating numbers, lying to clients, cutting corners. Emma was staring at Michael. You said you left those jobs for better opportunities. I did. She's exaggerating. I'm not, Victoria said calmly. I have documentation if you'd like to see it. Termination letters, audit reports, witness statements. My mother pushed through the crowd. What's going on here? Victoria, is it? This is hardly appropriate conversation for a funeral reception. You're right, Victoria agreed. Let's talk about something else. Like how your son Michael told his child that Ryan wasn't good enough for Emma, when the truth is Michael stole his brother's fiancée while Ryan was deployed in a combat zone. The crowd gasped. Several family members looked at Michael with disgust. That's not how it happened, my mother said. They fell in love. These things happen. These things happen? Victoria's voice was sharp. Let me tell you what happened. Your son pursued his brother's fiancée while Ryan was serving his country. He manipulated her, moved into Ryan's apartment without permission, and married her while Ryan was still deployed. Then your family celebrated the wedding without ever considering how devastating that betrayal was. You don't know what you're talking about, Michael said. Ryan left. He chose the military over Emma. I was deployed, I said quietly. It wasn't a choice. It was my duty. You could have gotten out. Could have stayed home. I'd signed a contract. I'd made a commitment. Unlike you, I honor my commitments. Emma spoke for the first time. Ryan, I'm sorry. I know the timing was bad. The timing was bad? You got engaged to my brother 3 months after I left for Afghanistan. You married him while I was still in country. You never explained. Never apologized. Just sent back a ring and moved on. You were gone. I was alone. You were alone for 3 months. 3. And you had family, friends, support. I was in a war zone. I was watching friends die while you were falling in love with my brother. I didn't plan for it to happen, but you let it happen. You chose it. Both of you. I looked at Michael. And you've spent 8 years telling your son that I wasn't good enough, when the truth is you weren't man enough to wait until I came home to tell me to my face. My father's brother, Uncle Tom, spoke up. Ryan's right. Michael, what you did was wrong. We all knew it was wrong. We just didn't want to cause problems. So you let the wrong person be punished, Victoria said. Ryan was the one who lost his family because of someone else's betrayal. He chose to cut contact, my mother said defensively. Because you all chose Michael over him. Because you celebrated a wedding built on betrayal. Because you made him feel like his feelings didn't matter. Aunt Sarah stepped forward. Carol, she's right. We all failed Ryan. We pretended like Michael stealing his fiancée was just one of those things instead of the massive betrayal it was. We made Ryan the outsider because it was easier than holding Michael accountable. My mother looked around at the family members, many of whom were nodding in agreement. But Michael is happy. Emma is happy. They have a child. Surely that matters more than an old relationship? An old relationship? I asked. Mom, we were engaged. I was planning to marry her. I loved her. And my brother took her while I was deployed. That's not an old relationship. That's a betrayal that destroyed my trust in my entire family. But you've moved on. My mother said, gesturing at Victoria. You're married. You're successful. Clearly you're fine. I'm fine because I rebuilt my life without any of you. Because I had to survive without family support. Because I created a new life in California where nobody knew about my brother stealing my fiancée. Fiancée I stole, Michael said suddenly. His voice was bitter. That's what you said. Like she was property. Like she didn't have a choice. She had a choice, I agreed. And she chose you. But the way you went about it, behind my back, while I was deployed, that's what makes it unforgivable. If you waited until I came home, if you told me to my face, maybe I could have accepted it. But you were cowards. Both of you. Emma started crying. I was 25. I was scared. I didn't know how to handle it. You could have been honest. I tried. I wrote you letters explaining. I never got letters from you. Only Michael's letter telling me you were together. She looked at Michael. You said you'd include my letter with yours. Michael's face was red. I must have forgotten. You didn't forget, I said. You didn't want me to hear her explanation. You wanted me to think she'd just moved on without a second thought. That's not true. Then where's her letter? Because I only got yours. The one that said we hope you can understand. Emma turned to Michael. You said you'd send both letters together. I thought I did. You're lying, Victoria said. Just like you lied about your sales reports. Just like you've lied about why you were fired from multiple jobs. It's a pattern, Michael. You take shortcuts, lie to cover your tracks, and hope nobody notices. Dylan, who'd been watching this whole exchange with wide eyes, tugged on Michael's sleeve. Daddy, why is Uncle Ryan upset? Michael picked him up. It's complicated, buddy. Let's go inside. He started to walk away, but Aunt Sarah stopped him. No. Dylan deserves to know the truth eventually. Maybe not all of it right now, but he should know that families sometimes hurt each other, and that those hurts have consequences. He's 5, Michael protested. And he just told his uncle that his daddy said uncle wasn't good enough. That's teaching him to disrespect family. That stops now. Emma was crying harder. I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm so sorry. I was young and stupid and I made terrible choices. I hurt you in the worst way possible and I've regretted it every day since. Have you though? I asked. Because you married him. You had a child with him. You built a life together. That doesn't sound like regret. I regret how it happened. I regret hurting you. But I can't regret Dylan. I'm not asking you to regret your child. I'm asking you to understand why I cut you all out of my life. Why I built a new life in California. Why I never came back. And now you have, my mother said. You're here. With your successful wife. Clearly you've done well. Can't we move past this? Move past it? Mom, you just watched Michael tell his son that I wasn't good enough for Emma. You've spent 8 years pretending like what happened was normal. And now you want me to just move past it because I've done well despite all of you? Victoria stepped forward again. I think what Ryan is saying is that success doesn't erase betrayal. He built a good life, yes. But he did it without family support. Without the people who should have had his back. And now you want credit for his success? You want forgiveness because he survived your failure? My mother looked stung. We're still his family. By blood, maybe. But family is about more than DNA. It's about loyalty, support, protection. You protected Michael instead of holding him accountable. You made Ryan the problem instead of acknowledging the betrayal. Uncle Tom spoke up again. Victoria's right, Carol. We all failed Ryan. And instead of apologizing, you're defending Michael again. You're doing the same thing you did 8 years ago. My mother looked around at the assembled family members. Many were nodding. Several looked ashamed. What do you want from us? She asked me. An apology? Fine. I'm sorry. We're sorry. We should have handled things differently. I don't want forced apologies. I came here for Dad's funeral. That's all. But you're here. You're back. Maybe this is a chance to reconnect. I'm not back. I live in California. I have a life there. A wife, a career, friends who actually support me. I don't need to reconnect with people who showed me exactly where I ranked in their priorities 8 years ago. Michael put Dylan down and walked back over. So what, you're just going to hold a grudge forever? Never forgive us? I'm not holding a grudge. I've moved on. But moving on doesn't mean forgetting. And it doesn't mean pretending like what you did was okay. It's been 8 years. And you've spent those 8 years telling your son I wasn't good enough instead of teaching him about accountability and respect. That tells me you haven't changed. You've just gotten more comfortable with your choices. Victoria checked her watch. Ryan, we should go. Our flight leaves in 3 hours. I nodded. Looked at my family one last time. I came to say goodbye to my father. That's done. I don't think I'll be back. Ryan, please, my mother said. Don't leave like this. How should I leave? Should I stay and pretend like everything's fine? Should I play happy family while my brother's son thinks I'm not good enough? Should I forget 8 years of being erased from family photos and celebrations? We didn't erase you. I checked Facebook before coming here. Looked at family photos. I'm not in any of them. 8 years of birthdays, holidays, celebrations. I'm not in a single photo. Because you erased me to make Michael and Emma's relationship easier. Aunt Sarah stepped forward. Ryan, I'm sorry. You're right. We all let you down. Some of us are sorry. Some of us want to make it right. But I understand if you can't forgive us. Just know that some of us have thought about you, missed you, wished things were different. I hugged her. Thank you, Aunt Sarah. Stay in touch. I will. Victoria and I walked out. Got in our rental car. Drove away from my childhood home. You okay? She asked. Yeah. Actually, yeah. That went better than I expected. Better? Your brother is still an asshole. True. But at least now everyone knows it. And they know I didn't just disappear because I was bitter. They know I left because they all chose him over me. Your wife is a badass, by the way. I laughed. Yes, she is. That firing Michael thing, did you know I was his former boss? Not until you said his name. When did you make the connection? When your aunt called. You mentioned your brother's name, and I looked him up. Recognized the face from our termination meeting. Small world. Poetic justice. Very. We drove in silence for a bit. Then Victoria asked, do you regret cutting them off? No. The life I built without them is better than anything I could have had with them. They made their choice 8 years ago. I made mine. I just needed them to know I didn't fail. I thrived. You definitely thrived. We flew back to California. Back to our life. Our friends. Our careers. A week later, Aunt Sarah called. The family is still processing everything. Your mother is upset. Michael is defensive. Emma is apparently questioning everything about her marriage. That's not my problem. I know. I just wanted you to know that you were right. About all of it. And several family members have reached out to me saying they want to reconnect with you. On your terms. Maybe someday. Right now, I'm good where I am. I understand. Love you, Ryan. Love you too, Aunt Sarah. That was 2 months ago. I haven't heard from Michael or my mother since. Emma sent one email apologizing again and asking if we could ever be friendly. I didn't respond. Victoria got promoted to CEO of our company last month. She's now overseeing 3 subsidiaries and 800 employees. She's brilliant and I'm incredibly proud. My life is good. Better than good. I have a wife who challenges me, supports me, and stands up for me. I have a career I love. I have friends who become family. And I have the satisfaction of knowing that the brother who stole my fiancée has spent 8 years struggling in his career while I've thrived. That the family who chose him over me now sees exactly who he is. That the woman who left me for him regrets her choice. That's not revenge. That's just living well.